I know, I usually say the clam stamp or the clam slam. Both of them are great. However, the teabagging is fucking fantastic as well. And whenever someone tells me, no, don't be toxic, I'm like, no, I'm literally, I have a cup with me and I'm teabagging. Like, you know, the actual teabag is going up and down in my tea. Don't you call me toxic? How fucking dare you? Also, I'm a lady, so
All right, find a vantage point to have eyes on. Neutralize any and all threats. Calm and quiet.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. 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 Do you think Cyberpunk 2 is gonna have multiplayer? I think it will depend on many things. I would love for this game to be multiplayer. I really would have liked this game to be multiplayer. But I think there's a lot of issues with it being multiplayer. I'm gonna explain why with this particular one. The whole idea of Cyberpunk, in particular with this one, is that it's not a role-playable open world. Think, for example, on GTA. GTA is about you as a character building your reputation and climbing the ranks of a particular society. No danger, quote unquote, no danger to your life. In the case of Cyberpunk, you are literally fighting for your life. They delve in so many psychological levels on what B could do and what she should do, depending on how you do it. Now, can you roleplay it in this game? Yes, 100%. You could roleplay everything in this game. You could roleplay the different things. However, like before, when Lizzie calls us and she's like, hey, I need your help. I did a thing. And you're over there like me, for example, I'm like, I'm so proud of her. She did her first murder. That's so cute. That's me. That's how I would roleplay my V. However, my V says the following dialogue. What did you do, Lizzie? How could you? It doesn't match my character or my way of roleplaying it with what B is saying in game. That's why I think this game, this particular one, with this story, it doesn't work. I think it works on GTA because they don't give a linear story to the character. He does have like a linear one, which is go from point A to point B. Once you become like the super ultra guy and you defeat the things that you need to defeat, then you can have access to the open world. Do your roleplay, get your servers, blah, blah, blah. Cyberpunk is not like that. There's only two things that I criticize about Cyberpunk. Number one, the fashion. Actually, three things. Let's go with that. Number one, the fashion. I would like to be able to select the fashion when I go into something. Like if I'm supposed to look fly and they give me a fucking ass green yucky suit, I will start screeching like a banshee, like I fucking dare you. CD Projekt Red, I fucking dare you. Number two, I don't think they put enough thought into the romantic aspect of this game. I really don't. I know that you have played. For those of you that have not played Phantom Liberty all the way to the end and you have not gotten the new ending, spoilers ahead. You have time. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to leave, or just advance my thing until you see me get out of this screen that I'm in. In the new ending, the only character that they put any thought into and that makes sense the way that they advance is Judy. Panam is a manipulative bitch that only once she gets her way, she will remain your friend, because that is exactly what happens. In the case of River, I am highly disappointed in CD Projekt Red because they did River wrong. River should have been an actual romanceable person that should have gotten a good ending with B. Instead, we get the shit ending that they give it. They didn't put any thought into River. And it bothers me. That is something that I have said openly, and I have criticized CD Projekt Red because they did not put any thought into romancing characters, specifically male characters. They did so much for Judy, they did so much for Panam, but they did absolutely nothing for River. and still in that situation is very limited. Very limited on what you can do because you only have 3 romance options. You're either gay, straight, or just straight. I agree with that, and don't get me wrong, it's great and everything, but I think, and this is something I have discussed this to extent in my channel. Every fucking game, any game, doesn't matter what game it is, should have 2 teams that are specifically geared to one thing: romance story and fashion. And they need females for that. If you're gonna have a female protagonist, get a female perspective. Get them in the game. Get them in there and be like, I want to see that. Like me personally, and I have said it over and over and over again, I want to look like a fucking whore while I'm killing people. I want to wear skimpy little outfits. And CD Projekt Red has not given me that. I want to wear boots. I want to wear the boots that you see on the boxes. They don't put them. They don't let you wear them. For female characters and female gamers, I don't know if it's for everybody because I'm not going to generalize, but for a lot of us, and I'm including myself, fashion is a big part. If I look good in a video game, I'm going to be more encouraged to do it. If I don't look good, I will be pissed off. I will not want it. I will be very upset about many things that happen in the game. That's why I went and I specifically started looking for specific looks before they incorporated the dresses, before they incorporated everything else. The third thing that I criticize about this game is something that I just forgot. Yay me. Limbo moment, guys. I got so upset at the river thing. No, but honestly, like the river thing is just something that deeply hurt me. I think that they need to do river correctly. Sorry, I had a bimbo moment. But yeah, like there's many other things. There's very few. Like story-wise, I think is fantastic. They needed to add a little bit more. Oh, I remember now. I want my B to be feminine. The way that she sits, the way that she acts, the way that she reacts is extremely masculine. She is a tomboy. And I love it. I love that there's people that actually want their B to be a tomboy. I don't. I want my B to be a female. I want my B to be a woman. I want my B to look like a woman. And I want my B to act like a woman. Oh, but she is not going to... I would be more fucking scared of a woman that acts feminine and it's about to slide your fucking throat with mantis blades than of a female that looks like a tomboy and acts like a tomboy. I'm sorry, but that's me. The concept of femme fatale exists for a reason. It exists for a reason. So I have always had this one. Those are like the 3 things that really, really bother me in the game. I was never bothered by the bugs because I find them fucking hilarious. I was never bothered by the crashes because I still find them fucking hilarious. I was never bothered by the gameplay. I was never bothered by anything. I was bothered by the fashion, by the lack of input put into the actual romancing situations of my B and the way that my B acts. That's just me. I would love to see if they do it into a multiplayer where you can go with someone. I would love to see that little thing, that small change. This is something that I have discussed with, like I said, with my community at length. To the point that when I'm launching my podcast on Cyberpunk, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the 3 points that bother the shit out of me when I play Cyberpunk. That is the only issues that I have with the actual game. I want to be a female. I want to feel like a female, and I want to act like a female, not a tomboy. I want to be Widowmaker when I do my little shoots with my, tsunami. Not the fucking difficult. Okay, there's an ad. I'm going to. Okay, the ad has ended. Like I said, I have discussed this with my community at length. There is a podcast that is going to be started as of January. There's no date at the moment. I think it's going to be in the second or third week of January. Specifically talking about Cyberpunk, not only the lore, but also like the video game. Because I think that while I love watching people online and on YouTube that discuss Cyberpunk at length, they have guides, they have all of this. I don't think there's an actual female perspective that appeals to me. And that's just to me. So I'm going to become it. And I'm going to invite anyone and everyone that wishes to discuss Cyberpunk with me and the things that bother to them and why they bother to them. Because I know that I'm not the only one that had issues. Like me, for example, I have issues with Panam. I did the entire story with Panam. And don't get me wrong, Panam is fucking hot. Like, hot. But she's very manipulative. She's extremely gaslighty. She is all or nothing. So you either give her your all or you don't give her anything. And she will be incredibly mad if you decide to give your life to Johnny. Or if she will be incredibly mad if you disappear for 2 years. And the person that is the most reasonable in that relationship is Mitch. So at least let me romance fucking Mitch. That makes more fucking sense than Panam. And it has nothing to do with the fact that she's fucking hot. It has everything to do with the fact that she acts in a particular way. Me as a psychologist and a pedagogy major, I have seen so many issues with many of the relationships, and I do think that there's so much missing. They could have done so much more. They could have had in-depth storylines with the romances, specifically for the very reason that you are dealing with a character that is facing their own death. And nobody, I will say that, nobody hides from their own people at the end of time. You crave to be around people. That is just the way that we are wired psychologically. So why not put a little bit more thought into the romances that you're putting in the game? I think, like, I understand that it would have required so much more and so much more, not only brain power, but like a lot of geeks to create those storylines and make them happen with several people. I get it. But they could have done a little bit better. That's the only thing that I'm reeling. And this has been for 3 years, guys. Ever since they released the game to this point, I still say the same things. Oh, and it sent me on a fucking... it sent me flying when this happened. Specifically in Phantom Liberty, when they put me in that fucking green emerald suit. I hate it. I think that we cannot compare this game with Baldur's Gate. If we really think about it, sadly, this game was rushed. And like you said, it was very geared towards the male audience. Because they didn't consider that there's a lot of females that are involved in Cyberpunk. And I don't blame them, because like 90% of the Cyberpunk creators, the ones that create the actual lore, but not only the lore, but the books, most of them are males. So technically, it should be more males that are invested in it. I think that it has only become a little bit more open-minded lately, with D&D becoming like a thing that anybody can enjoy. I know that there's a lot of people, like males and females, that have been playing from the 90s. But for example, I'm from Mexico. I didn't know that D&D was a thing until like the late 2010s. And that's because in Mexico, that wasn't a thing in the circle of friends that I was a part of. Video games was fantastic. Like, I remember the first time that I played something like GTA, San Andreas. San Andreas was fucking fantastic. And as a female, I looked at, oh, look, there's romantic connections. Even if they are romantic connections that are fleeting and they are just happening in the moment, they had some thought put into them. I think that Cyberpunk, the one mistake that they made is that they exclusively tried to gear this for males. And they tried to gear this for the male brain. And lo and behold, this game is loved by females. Because females want to have a badass protagonist that is V, because she's a fucking badass, that is willing to take on the world. Like, my B is a fucking psychopath, straight up psycho. She goes and she murders anything and everything. The only thing that I complain about is I want to be feminine. I want to be Widowmaker. I want my V to act like Widowmaker. To be incredibly sensual. There should be an option for your female V to sexualize somebody. To flirt their way into something. Do you know how badass that would be?